I'm going to get real in this, and it's probably going to piss some people off, but I'm okay with that, because if I'm not being honest, then what else am I doing? I just got back from the DNC where I signed up to volunteer. And when I initially had signed up to volunteer, Joe Biden was still the nominee. It wasn't yet Kamala Harris. I've worked in progressive politics for a long time. I have worked for many different Democratic candidates, Senate candidates, House candidates, even some Democratic organizations. And as the years have gone by, I found myself getting more and more disillusioned with the Democratic Party, although until now, I've never said that out loud or anywhere public. And I just want to say that by saying this, I'm not necessarily saying that the other party is better. I'm just giving you my experience with working with the Democrats. Throughout my career, I've mostly done campaign fundraising, so I've seen it the way that it works behind the scenes. And I know that candidates spend 8, 9, 10 hours a day just calling donors and begging rich people for money. It's pretty much the only people that they talk to. I mean, of course, sometimes they have to talk to voters, but the majority of their time is just spent calling and begging rich people to give them money for their campaigns. And what this inevitably means is that we don't actually live in a democracy. It's just rich people calling the shots and having the access to talk to the politicians. They're the ones that basically get their ear all day. They're the ones that can help shape and prioritize what the politician actually focuses on. Even the politicians that detest this, that want to get big money out of politics, still have to play this game. They still have to make these calls. They still do the same amount of just calling rich people and begging them for money.
That's true.
And what unfortunately happens once they get into office, if they get into office, is that they soon realize that the money machine is so great and the seduction of power is so immense that they no longer adhere to these values. When I first got into politics, I thought that Democrats were the party of the people. And at the DNC this week, I felt like I was in a building with the most elite and out of touch people in the entire world.
Wow.
It very much felt like, let's just have a huge party and forget all of our problems because the vibes are brat.
Yes.
When I was there, I didn't feel any connection to real America or the place that I come from, which is the Midwest, Kansas City, Kansas, and Missouri. I didn't feel any connection to the people that I know right now who are struggling to buy their groceries or to pay their rent. The people who want to know what both candidates are going to do to materially affect change in their lives. And when I was there listening to the speeches, I felt myself feeling mad because I didn't hear anything about the economy. Definitely not in Kamala's speech, and not very much in the others as well. Instead, I heard generic platitudes, things like joy and respect and integrity. And what does that even mean? Let's make the military the most lethal in the world. I thought I was part of the anti-war party. I thought I was part of the party that fought for the underdog, that championed working people. When and how did we just become the party of academia and affluence?
That's correct.
That's what we are right now. How can we ever say that we're going to fight corporate power or give a voice back to those communities that have been left behind when above the delegates on the floor in levels and levels and rings of suites with donors and corporations that we're literally looking down on the people below from above? That's what Chris Cuomo said, and he's absolutely right. You know, I went to the DNC this year hoping that I would feel reconnected to the Democratic Party, that I would have more of a sense of understanding of Kamala and her candidacy and what she stood for. But instead, I ended up leaving and feeling the opposite, more disconnected and alone than ever. And I don't think I can support Kamala Harris for president.
I'll just leave that right there. Hey, Cedra, good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm good, thank you. I've been sitting on that particular TikTok.
Why? We already know. We already know these things.
I know, and I sat on it for a while now, a week now, and it's gone viral. I think the last time I checked, it was like maybe 2.4 million
Yeah, it's
viewers.
viral.
Okay, and I sat on it because I wanted to remove the emotions out
Mm-hmm.
of my response, and I typically do that. So I give a measured, factual um, commentary. And the one thing I disagree with her is the comment she made on the military. I'm
Oh,
all
okay.
for. I'm a hawk when it comes to the military. I am all for a large, strong military because one, it is a vehicle for individuals
Mm-hmm.
to start a career. Um, it is a vehicle for higher education. It is a vehicle for stimulating the economy. And there's no way we're moving away from being the police people, policemen of the world. So I'm all for a big military and sufficient and above sufficient funding for the military. So pulling that aside, that's the only disagreement I have with her. And I'll
But
provide.
maybe she has some different experience with those people, because she mentioned that she has worked with several people. So
Right.
maybe she has some different experiences about those people, and you don't have those experiences. So when you work with somebody, you have different experience.
That's
So
true. That's
so
true.
I think that yeah, this military and everything she said in it. First thing, that military is not a one person. It's a group. It's a large community. So we can't target the military of any. I don't like to target military. Okay,
Hmm.
target the specific individuals in the military. You
The
can target.
decision makers, right? I
Yeah,
wasn't a
that's
fan. I wasn't a fan of the Gulf War. I thought it was the wrong target
yeah.
for America. It was a waste of resources, and it played into our opponent's ideology. But that's a different story, and I could
Yeah.
go on and on about that forever. And if anyone wants to debate me on that, please.
But different,
Um,
Kamala Harris is like, she's different. She's just like a stage actress.
ooh,
She's
okay,
like that. I don't know why. I felt this thing that she's not like a leader. Okay, fine. She's good in some things, but she's not good on many things.
sure.
So I
And
think Trump has a more you can say that experience, not experience, but maybe she belongs to already a family. She was a businessman, so she knows how to tackle all these things, all these shits. So but
right.
Kamala doesn't know.
I and this kind of harkens back to Ronald Reagan, the criticism in regards to Ronald Reagan. You're a little bit too young, but I do remember the criticism. You know, he starred in Hollywood in several movies with a monkey, and,
Okay, that's that's
and,
fine, that's fine.
and some other things too.
He was just playing his role. That's fine.
Exactly.
That's fine.
So yeah, the knock against Reagan could be applied to Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris. This DNC again was a celebration, and they
Yeah,
did
it
a
was celebration.
wonderful. It was a wonderful job. However, the underlying issues that this particular content creator brought to our attention, to my attention, is a concern. It was a I was talking to one of our viewers, and we were talking about what the party represents, what the vice president wants to bring to America, and about the economy and going after the billionaires. And I said, "Mom, um, you we saw Bernie Sanders come out and rail against billionaires, and then
Mm.
shortly after, you had Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois come out and talk about the the positive things about the Democratic Party. And I was like, wait a second. There's a senator railing against, the billionaires, and then you have a billionaire governor coming on. It was so full of contradictions, and even some of the speeches. I was like, well,
I
Oprah, you're
think sometimes they
contradicting.
don't read their speeches before before the.
It's
That's
just like,
funny.
and Oprah, she made the comment about childless cat ladies, and
Mhm.
what people are missing in the context of what J.D. Vance was saying, Senator Vance was saying, and I did a show about this, and it's really, like, wow, Americans, you're missing an opportunity here.
Mm.
Was He was pretty much focusing on proxy voting or diminy voting, where parents will have an extra vote for their children. They are the proxy vote for their children. And I believe that if we did have that type of voting, and maybe start at the very, very local level, maybe we'll have better policies about our future, about our children. And everyone's always, whether it doesn't matter what party we're talking about, what affiliation, wherever we're from, people just love to pepper their speeches with our children, our future, and things like that. Well, if we're really serious about that, instead of the $25,000 tax credit to buy a home, or increasing and making permanent the tax credits for children, why don't we move towards a policy that is in fact family friendly, that is in fact children friendly? And I think the first step would be this proxy voting for children, or diminy voting that we discussed in the prior the David Washington show episode. But I understand what this particular content creator is saying, the frustration. I've talked to some people who were on
Maybe
the floor.
it's just a publicity. Maybe it's just a different thing. Maybe it's just to get more views, or maybe it's something else. We don't know.
Cedra,
It's
she spoke
social
from the
media.
heart. She spoke from the heart, and
I
I
know.
thought it was
People
spot
on
on.
social media don't believe. Please.
I thought it was spot on, Cedra, and it echoed some of the sentiments I had, not just for the Democrat convention, but also the Republican convention. Hey, I'll dish it out to both parties. I'll dish it out to anyone. I'm a
Look,
equal opportunity criticizer.
after this video, she get 1K more. So I think yesterday it was 10 point something, and now it's today's 11.
11 million.
11K, yes.
Wow. It resonated. I mean, it really resonated. And I hope that both candidates, President Trump and Vice President Harris, do address those exact needs,
But
or those
look,
sentiments.
I saw her other videos, and she only posted 6, 9, 10, 11 videos, and
Right.
the few videos, like, it has nothing, but still she has 10.6K.
Cedra, however,
What is
how,
this?
however, Cedra, I mean, people can say the same thing about our content. They can look at us like, oh, they don't have that many subscribers, or blah, blah,
Yes,
blah.
no,
And, and,
yeah,
and
seriously, people look your numbers. They don't care what you are saying.
And that's unfortunate. That is really unfortunate. It's something that we're working on. I still love my impressions, and that's where it's at. But however, Americans do need to ask those hard questions of themselves and of their electeds. And I believe that with this particular content creator, she's starting that conversation. She's making it very clear that this is where she stands. This is her observations, and maybe, and yes, we should have that conversation. This was content creator rolling in the deep state on TikTok, and I found her message very compelling, and I just wanted to speak to it.
Okay,
Any
okay.
closing thoughts, Cedra?
No, not right now, but yeah, I think she she what do you say? Um, I think she invented new questions for future decision makers. So I think it's a good thing on one side, but still we are not sure about her message, like why she did um she did deliver this message. Like what's the reason? What's the causes behind this message? It's still unclear. I don't know why, because I don't know.
Well, maybe our viewers and listeners will let us know their perspective on, what she said and why she said it. And
Yeah.
please check her out. Again, this was on TikTok. She is rolling in the deep state. And in closing, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in and, share our content with those family members, friends, influencers, candidates, electeds that you believe would benefit from our message, our content. We really would appreciate it. And I'd love for you to comment. I love commenting on your comments and you commenting on our comments and the comments in
Oh
general.
my god, it was a new trick. Oh my god, I just saw like, share, and comment on display on my screen. The surprise for me.
The magic of
Oh my
the internet. Like Cedra said, like and comment. We really appreciate it. And this is the David Washington Show. That's Cedra. I'm David Washington. We'll see you the next time. Thank
god.
you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Cedra.